What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is July 6th of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, we're not only going to be spending some time to take a look at the short-term perspective, but also the long-term perspective on Bitcoin. And I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be looking for here in the next coming weeks, or as we go throughout the next few weeks within the summer, as to where we're going to be spotting that next big move, whether it's to the upside or downside. And outside of that as well, diving a little bit deeper into some economic information or market data in regards to whether or not the market is taking a negative sentiment towards Ethereum. So we're going to be talking about all this and more right after our quick sponsor. Our sponsor for today's episode is Bitpanda Pro. Bitpanda Pro is the secure European exchange for crypto to fiat markets. Bitpanda has been offering secure, straightforward, and easy access to the cryptocurrency market in Europe for over 5 years and wants to offer the same service to more experienced traders, users using trading bots, and other advanced clients like cryptocurrency businesses and institutional investors. With the steady addition of more and more crypto to fiat trading pairs, Bitpanda Pro has made itself a convenient, secure, and trustworthy exchange to onboard or cash out easily. Check out the link down below in the description to learn more. Alrighty, everyone, so to take a quick look across the board for cryptocurrency markets, not too much has changed here. The vast majority of cryptocurrency plays are no trend scenarios, as again, Bitcoin has continued throughout the past 2.5 months to basically push generally sideways, moving within about $1,000 price range. So again, as we've been seeing relatively stagnant price action in Bitcoin, again, there are still many plays leading the market. Bidem, IOST, Nulls, OX, and also ABBC coin, I don't know what that is, all of them up nearly 10% across the board or more. We've also got Compound ticking back up a little bit, as well as a few other major plays like Cosmos, and also a few other DeFi plays like Synthetics doing well. So going across the board, we've obviously taken a look at the market, but there's one thing that I want to share with you all that, again, I think speaks to the fact that, our sponsor CoinMarketCap has done a fantastic job. I've been using CoinMarketCap for a long period of time on the channel. I also used a few other coin aggregate sites, but the key one we've been using over the last probably year and a half, back to what I originally used, is obviously CoinMarketCap. And they recently implemented something that I had recommended to Carolyn, who's the CEO of CoinMarketCap, a little while back, and that is a list of top DeFi tokens. So Carolyn's really sweet. She's the new interim CEO at CoinMarketCap, and as a good CEO does, they listen to the community, they take feedback, and she built something that I've wanted to see on CoinMarketCap for a little while, and that's a DeFi token list. So again, for those of you who are just like, look, I don't want to even look at the top 100. I want to look at the top DeFi tokens, right? You got your list right here, guys. And you can see you've got about, I think last time I checked, it's about 40 different plays here. Now, bear in mind as well, some of these, again, are kind of some no-name projects. And outside that as well, you also have some stable coins as well, for example, like DAI, that are part of the equation that may not be per se, like a DeFi token for like Kyber Network, KNC, or the Maker token, or Comp token, right? So you get a little bit of both worlds in there, some of the kind of everyday stable coins and other kind of utility tokens outside of the kind of core governance and utility tokens of a lot of protocols. But anyways, really cool here. You can do exactly what you've done with the traditional list. You can do the 24-hour range. Just wanted to share this. I think it's really cool. And you can also sort by rank or market cap, volume, etc. Okay, so diving in here again to talking a little bit about where we see Bitcoin going here throughout the summer. This is a very interesting question. Again, as you all know, I like to keep up a lot of my drawings on the charts here, and I've had this up here for a while. The lines were a little bit more stretched back here to June, but as you can see here, I basically moved this line over here because eventually this is what's going to happen if we want to see the positive breakout in markets, and that's going to be an eventual breakout above the line of resistance, making it support, and then really kicking off for the next cycle. That's at least what we've seen before in many cases in many markets like gold, and I believe this time around in Bitcoin we're going to see this as well, because it's really going to be a surmountable move here for cryptocurrency markets, and I think we need that kind of momentum to come in. But again, this is more of the long-term perspective. You guys know about this. You know about probably the expanding cycles, how each bull market is expanding by around 11 to 13 months each and every time. And we're deviating a little bit away from just the simple stock-to-flow model, right? Or we're at least having some lag or delay here in the stock-to-flow model. But the key thing I want to talk about that really matters here, and this is in regards to the short term. And I know you guys usually are going to be pretty surprised. I always talk about the long term, right? Well, you guys already know what I'm positioned on the long term. I'm long-term bullish on crypto. I'm long-term bullish on Bitcoin. But if you're looking for some insight and a relatively stable market right now, one that's not very volatile, ironically enough, compared to other markets. In regards to Bitcoin, there's two key levels that I'm watching for right now that I think are going to play very big significance, right? It's the general range that we've been trading in over the last few months since back here in May, and that is 8,500 and 10,000. So again, a $1,500 range here that we're looking at of price movement. Now, I know many people want to know about the day-to-day. People get tossed off by the $200 or $300 moves that Bitcoin makes on a single day or maybe 2 or 3 days. But again, that's not really what we care about here. What we care about is the surmountable moves that we can get a decent prediction on whether or not they're going to happen or not after certain price levels or indicators have been met. And one of those is obviously the 10K mark here, big 5 even digit number that again is going to be very important to get a close above if we want to eventually break out. And also, if we come down here to 8,500, again, not using any crazy indicators, just simply taking a look at support and resistance. This was the last major support range here, the last period of time where we dipped down in price, as well as maintaining support over here, and also resistance in the past, and resistance in the past over here. So we've seen that this is a very significant level. It's a big even level, and outside of that as well, there's been a lot of price correlating with it. So what we want to look for here is an eventual either breakdown here, which would signal a bearish breakdown, probably down here towards 7,700, if not possibly lower, down to the support range we've seen back here, around 6,500 in the worst case scenario. And outside of that as well, a possible break above 10,000. Now you all know my bias. Tend to believe that we're probably not going to see much of a major sell-off. In fact, we'll probably just ride along this line here, continuously press up against here, and eventually get a breakout. Again, the reason I say this is that this is the third time we're retesting this line, right? We initially set the top up here. This is the first time, the second time, the third time. And the important thing to notice here is that in the past 2 previous times we tested this line, we weren't up here for a very long period of time. We had 2 wicks candles here, 2 candles with wicks touching, with wicks. I guess it's the plural thing. I know some people always correct me with that. You can see here that, again, we tested this 2 times, but we didn't even get a close above this line. And also over here, we just touched it for a week, and then we had one of the worst sell-offs in crypto history. Now, this time, we've had multiple weeks where on the logarithmic chart, we're lining up against that resistance. So I'd say not to try to bet against this until we break below that short-term support level of 8,500 or 8,600, right around that range. Right, the closer we get to that, the more likely it is that we're probably going to break down below it. Okay, so that's it in regards to TA for Bitcoin. In the sense of Ethereum, there's some interesting market data that, again, CoinDesk took the time to actually talk about and discuss in regards to the put-call ratio. Now, for those of you who don't know about options, just to put it very simple, right, there's so much complexity to options if you really want to get in the intricacies of it. But to put it very simple, puts and calls are the most common forms of options. They're forms of financial instruments that allow you to, in a sense, kind of go long or short the market in a very unique way. And almost kind of taking the dynamic of time into the equation. So basically a call, for example, on Bitcoin, right, if I took a June call or something, or let's maybe step a little bit more further in the future. Let's say I took a July call option. This is giving me the right to be able to buy Bitcoin at a specific price. And again, I'm not forced to buy it, right? But it gives me an option in this case. I'm buying into this financial instrument that's going to allow me to buy in at a specific price, right? So therefore, if I execute on my option, and let's say Bitcoin's price goes really high from the price I agreed to buy it at, for example, I'd be able to buy my Bitcoin at a cheaper price and then sell it in the open market if I want to execute my option. You can sometimes just sell your options as well to someone else, which tends to be sometimes the better play. And then the other one as well is a put. Our put is basically on the opposite end. It's the right to sell a given asset at a certain price as well. So again, there's all kinds of ways you can go about doing puts and calls. And the major thing here that's important to realize is that we're taking a look at basically a ratio here between puts to calls. So as this ratio goes higher, it means that more of the market is buying puts. They're betting, and they're basically hedging in a sense that the market might be going down. Again, they might not be betting that it's going down, but the more you see this going up, it likely means that the market is taking more of a bearish tone than they're protecting themselves. Now, the key thing here that's important to note that CoinDesk really highlighted here is probably what most people would react to this. And whoever wrote the article here, I think they did an important job noting that this is the highest rate of basically short interest in this case, or basically puts on the market, right, that have come onto the market in a long period of time, right? We haven't seen this since all the way back here, probably in what would be, July of the previous year in 2019. So, right, we're at a 1-year high. But what's the important thing to take in mind here, right? Just looking at this chart here, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and drag it here to a new tab, right? You can see here, for example, in fact, we've been on an uptrend on open interest for a very long period of time. The ratio has been going up higher and higher. Now, again, a lot of people would say that this is bearish, but what did we see back here, right? Back in April of 2019, as the ratio went here from around 0.6 all the way up to 2.8 or almost probably 3. 3 puts for every 1 call. It shows you that this number can keep going higher and higher and higher. The market can keep getting more and more bearish or hedging and hedging and hedging. And it takes time. It can take multiple months or half a year to get to a point where it's actually favorable to go bearish on the market, where you actually start to see a decline here. In fact, the decline in this ratio is actually usually a sign that markets are finally pulling back. So I don't get concerned as this number is going up. I get concerned as it's going down. And you can see that correlating with ETH's price. If we take a look back here, right? If you were short Ethereum during that time where it was spiking up, you're probably losing your pants. It was going from around 140 all the way up to 280 and then eventually climbing up to 360. If you were to take it all the way back here to March, or worst off even back here in December of 2018, betting against Ethereum at $80, or the as Arthur Hayes famously said, a double-digit shitcoin. Sorry for the language. That's what he said. Again, it's ironic. Many people betted against Ethereum then, and they got completely screwed. Shorting something after it already went down over 90%, it's usually not the best play, even if you're not a big believer in DeFi as an asset. DeFi and Ethereum as an asset more specifically. Doesn't matter. It's not smart market moves. You short when there's optimal opportunity, in this case, where you get a confirmation, you get your first initial dip, you come back up, set in a lower high, and then you ride the bear market. That's how you play it. You do not short when something is this low, right? Again, I'm not trying to give you guys financial advice in this case. It's just my kind of mindset, right? I've ingrained that kind of mindset into my head over the last few years, and I especially wouldn't be shorting a market personally. I'm taking a look at the monthly here, right? The SMS is flipping off 5 points here for this month. We've been setting in higher lows, and it looks like now all we have to get is a higher high to confirm that we're in a bull market here in terms of US dollars. Again, if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, so we've talked about a lot in the past, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Binance one here. You can see, again, setting higher levels here, right? Building up in our volume, SMS flipping up higher, right? Again, does this look like a market you really want to bet against? Multiple months in the green from an over 90% correction? I personally wouldn't. Anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, when you look at things like this, right, these kind of ratios, make sure you look at what happens with price and actually determine whether or not this is something that should be a bearish or bullish indicator, right? So anyways, just wanted to, again, emphasize this. Last thing here, I'm just talking about the craziness in the world of not only partially crypto, but traditional finance. You know, if you think the world of crypto is the only thing where there's bad accounting, no revenue models, people overinflating and overpromising things, it happens in the traditional world of finance, and it can happen in the financial capitals of the world, especially in Germany. So one of Germany's biggest accounting firms reportedly only had one person who was watching over Wirecard, the company that processed debit card payments for a variety of major crypto debit cards, as well as many other different types of debit cards across the globe. It supposedly missed a black hole. I think it was around like 2.8 billion, or let me see here real quick. So it's 2.1 billion was the official tally for the falsified revenue. They basically had one person who was checking Wirecard's books over the months before the company admitted to a massive accounting irregularity that led to its insolvency. So again, this has basically sent the company into shockwaves. You can take a look here. If we go take a look at Wirecard's stock price, Wirecard AG, you can see here it's down, basically gone down from 200 per share down to 3.22. I mean, guys, this is wow. The volume here, 337 million shares as opposed to last month, even in an already volatile environment with peak volume of 62 million shares. So again, we still have these kind of events happening, and I really love how CoinDesk just kind of summarized this here, right? There's a nice bullet point summary here that actually kind of walks through the steps here. So let's just go ahead and talk about how, again, things like this don't just happen in niche markets like crypto. It happens in the real world. It happens in the traditional markets. So sources speaking to Reuters on Thursday said that Germany's chief financial regulator, BaFin, had assigned only one staff member at the Financial Reporting Enforcement Panel, or FREP, to report on Wirecard's books in 2019. FREP is a privately owned agency with a contract with BaFin. Wirecard claimed in February that it had earned revenue upwards of 2.8 billion euros, or $3.1 billion, in 2018. On June 18th, the Munich-based company admitted that some of its employees had purposely inflated revenue, resulting in an estimated $2.1 billion black hole. So $2.1 billion was falsified in that revenue. So really, they only made $1 billion in revenue for 2019. FREP's report had not been published by that point and still has not been made to the public. The private agency has previously assured BaFin that it has investigated Wirecard as far as it could, Reuters said. A spokesperson said Wednesday that it was not FREP's responsibility to investigate accounting fraud. BaFin has since confirmed it was canceling its contract with FREP. On June 23rd, Wirecard's former CEO, Marcus Braun, was arrested on suspicion of accounting fraud and market manipulation. The collapse of Wirecard meant cryptocurrency firms 10x and Crypto.com cards temporarily stopped working. They were reactivated earlier this week. Wirecard has been the backbone of cryptocurrency debit cards for the most part in this space, guys. And again, when you're going into any type of centralized traditional institutions, I don't think we should take it with a grain of salt that these institutions will just work. We need to do our due diligence. We need to ask questions. We need competition of transparency and security. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of companies in this space, respectfully, to projects like Tencent and Crypto.com, didn't really do their due diligence. They were too quick to focus on expansion. It's just my personal opinion. Again, nothing more than that. Outside of that, guys, again, I'd like to hear what you all think about this. What do you all think about this? What do you think about the put and call spread that we have here for Ethereum? What do you think about the market data here for Bitcoin in the short term and the long term? Is there any price levels that you're looking for? And outside of that as well, I just want to take some time to thank again one of our key sponsors here on the channel. If you haven't looked into them, guys, take a look into Amatin. Amatin.io is the website, and Amatin, to put it simple, is building a secondary marketplace for gift card exchange for all kinds of different brands that you might know or love. And the cool thing is about Amatin is that they're a well-respected and already established company based out of Japan. They're now moving into building kind of their next phase as a company, which is a decentralized marketplace to allow people to exchange gift cards in this case. And I think it's very fascinating. It's, again, a key evolution that they see they need to engage in, or someone else will build this competitive platform that probably reduces costs and brings in more opportunity for people to exchange their gift cards on a secondary market. I think it's fascinating. Again, what's really cool is they're not doing an ICO, no IEO. They just listed directly on exchanges. And along with that as well, you can take a look into the team and the roadmap, and please read their white paper. I think it's very fascinating, and I'm really interested to see where Amatin is going to be able to take their blockchain project in the long term. That being said, though, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.